Hi and welcome to the Crafts Channel in association with Fimo. My name's Corinne Brad and I'm joined today by Lisa Davies.
Hi, I'm the Fimo marketing manager and I'm the lucky person who gets the job of playing with Fimo all day.
Yes, and a great job it is as well.
It is, yes.
Well, today we're going to show you how to make some stripes. Fimo have a lovely conditioning machine here, which is great. It's like a pasta machine, but it's better than a pasta machine. It's got a much better crank handle on it, and the gearing allows it to take things a bit tougher than your normal egg and flour mix, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you can make quite a wide sheet here as well.
It's about 175
millimeters,
isn't it? Yeah. Which is great if you're doing big veneer projects. Rather than trying to piece loads of pieces together, you've got a whole sheet to work with. And also you've got here, like you would on a pasta machine, you've got a variable roller width between, I think, 1 millimetre and 3 millimetres thick.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you can then roll out sheets that are perfectly flat and they're all the same depth, so that when you make your striped blocks, such as this one, all the stripes are even.
It's like a licorice all sort.
It is like a licorice all sort.
Just to say as well, if you don't have a Fimo clay machine, you can always use a regular pasta machine.
I mean, and these acrylic rollers as well. If you're careful with your rolling out, or you could even put 2 bits of cardboard either side of it.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Just roll it out like that, so you've got the same thickness.
If you do use a pasta machine though in the kitchen, just make sure you wash it properly. Before you
Otherwise
make food
you might
in
get
it.
stripy bits in your ravioli. But Fimo's got some nice new packaging, I noticed, hasn't it?
It has, yes. We've rebranded Fimo Soft, so you may notice the difference in the branding on the front, but it's easy to open packaging. So up until last year, you had to use your craft knife to open it. Now you just follow the little red symbol on the back of the packet, pull that gently, and then the seal just opens on the top.
And that's resealable.
And then
that
is resealable, yes.
But what you need to do with Fimo Soft is you need to condition it. I think a lot of people have fallen down in the past because they get it straight out the block and then go, oh, it's really hard. You need to work it. The best way to work it is with a bit of heat from your hand. Now, I have preconditioned these. I sat down with Benedict Cumberbatch for a couple of hours the other night.
Lucky Benedict.
And preconditioned some Fimo. And really, if you just squeeze it between your hands until it warms up, and this will be really easy to work today because of the lights. Fimo's easier to work with in summer than winter.
Yes.
In the winter, you can put it on a hot water bottle or put a cloth over a hot water bottle and cut your Fimo, put it on there, just let it warm up a little bit. So we'll just flatten this out a bit. So I've rolled this out a little bit with the acrylic roller. That's about 4-5 mil.
Yeah.
So if you start with the Fimo machine on its lowest setting.
Okay. Do you pull this out slightly, do you?
Yeah, because there's a little ratchet in there. So that's on 1. Wind it through like that.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
And then I'm going to tighten it up 2 degrees there, so that's on 3. And I'll put it through in the other direction. If you keep putting it through in the same direction, it won't get any wider, but it will just get longer and longer and longer.
Right, okay.
And I'm going to make, if I make the whites 4 and the blacks 5...
It's a really subtle difference then, isn't it?
Yeah, but it does make a difference, and that's just the daft thing. Can I just pass me a tile a sec, my love?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
There you go.
So
working on a ceramic tile as well, that means if you actually make something out of Fimo, you don't need to move it onto another surface then?
No, that's it.
So when it goes in the oven,
bake it straight in the oven. So I'm going to use a tissue blade. This is the fine, flexible one. I prefer this one. I tend to use the thicker one for just cutting the blocks off.
Right.
Just be careful with this because it is quite a sharp blade. I put a strip of washi tape on the end that I want to hold, so I know what I'm doing. Make sure it's clean, and if you just cut a rectangle.
I've done that before and I've accidentally picked the blade up and
Cut your fingers?
press the wrong side. When you actually buy the blades, they come in a pack of 3. There's a thin blade that Corinne's using, a slightly thicker one, and then there's a serrated edge one as well. But for the 2 flat blades, there's a sort of rubber protection strip that goes on the top.
Oh yes, yeah. Take some black, condition it as we had before, run it through your pasta machine, and as I say, I'm going to make the black very slightly thinner.
And how much Fimo would you have used
This is just one section, so where your Fimo comes in the
portions,
sections,
yeah.
It's just one portion.
Right, okay.
I mean, I save all the scraps. And, you know, even, well, I'll show you in a minute, actually, at the end of the you know, when we've done a design, even if you've got mixed up Fimo, just save it because it's invaluable. I'll show you why it's invaluable.
Well, that goes a long way then, doesn't it?
It does go. It goes a hell of a long way. Now, some people, what they do is they will just stack up their Fimo like this and then cut the whole lot at once. But it is wasteful because then you've got all the offcuts are black and white, and unless you want grey, there's not a lot of point. So this is why I always put one on the other. I'm just going to manipulate that into more of a rectangle.
Okay.
Put one on the other like that. And then again, you just cut around the outside of it. So all the waste clay you've got there is just one colour, so you can keep a pile of black and white waste clay.
Yeah.
So you continue building up your block like this until something like this now, which we've got, it's stacked up, I've trimmed the edges neatly.
Yeah.
And although there might be air bubbles between the layers, if I cut, and I need to cut the other way around here to show the camera, if you cut like this with your fine blade, any air bubbles can be released now.
Oh, right.
So you've cut yourself a thin slice.
So you started with white and finished with black?
Yeah.
How
And the
many
reason
layers?
we've got 5 of each there.
All right.
The reason I've done that is so that you can build up a pattern like this, black, white, black, white, black, white. And you don't end up going, oh, I've got 2 black bits together. Once you've got your slice, again, you don't know what width it is, what thickness it is. And if you're doing something like a flat tile like this, you'd like it to be quite smooth. If it's going to be a coaster, you don't want your cuts wobbling on it, do you? So we'll just run it through the pasta machine. This is set on 6 at the minute. Run it through the pasta machine like this. And let's put it on 7 to make quite a thin veneer. And then this is where your waste clay comes in handy.
Right.
You know, it ends up like that. Roll it out to about 2 centimetres, I keep doing that, 2 millimetres thick. Cut yourself a tile.
Right.
And this is just waste clay. It's been part baked for 10 minutes.
Oh,
so it's hard enough. Yeah, it's still quite flexible.
Looks like a piece of leather, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. 10 minutes that was baked
10 minutes that was baked
okay.
for, 110 degrees centigrade, which is 230 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
You don't really want to exceed that temperature because you could burn your clay. But, you know, if you're just part baking something, you're going to rebake the whole thing anyway.
Yes.
It's not so much timing, is it? It's temperature.
Yeah, definitely don't exceed the temperature. With Fimo as well, you can actually rebake it about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So if you make a mistake or you want to add
which I do frequently.
something
Make a repair.
breaks,
Yeah.
you know, Corinne's baked this for 10 minutes, but even if you'd have baked it for 30, you can still add another fresh piece of unbaked Fimo, mould it onto the baked piece, pop that back in the oven,
there.
do that again.
Which is really good
3 or 4
actually, because a lot of
times.
the time if you're making things that have got quite a lot of structure to them, there's nothing worse than you've done something and then you put another piece on and the whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
So if you've baked it, I mean it gives you a surface to work on. So do you want plain stripes or wavy stripes?
Let's go for plain.
Plain. So we'll just lay that on there. Yeah.
And you're not using any glue.
Again, depending on the temperature that you're working with. I mean, this, as I say, is quite warm. It's still quite malleable, and it's sticking quite well.
Okay.
I don't, you know, I mean, I've never used any form of glue to stick pieces of Fimo to each other because I've never found the need.
Right.
I would imagine you could probably use, you know, the deco gel, because that's like you could rub that on the surface. If you do need to stick something, I think the deco gel would work.
Right, okay.
But it's not something I've ever needed to do.
And the deco gel as well, that's a Fimo product.
Yes.
And that goes in the oven as well.
Yes, yeah, and it bakes to a translucent finish because you can use that on sort of fake window effects and things like that.
It's a brilliant product. I love deco gel.
So we'll just lay this next to it.
Right.
So as you can see there now, we've put the 2 stripes on there.
Right.
And the other thing is, don't just do black and white. I mean, we've got here.
That's a lovely colour combination.
This is nice, actually. I like this. I was playing around the other day. And this is just red, orange, gold, orange, red, orange, gold. And then, you know, you don't just have to have a stripe coaster. You can create series of stripes along here. This is just the gold metal flakes on a piece of, I'll show you that in another video, how to add metallic accents. You can cut circles out and just put plain circle, you know, a plain disc of Fimo in there amongst the stripes.
So you put the stripes on here first, then used a cutter.
Cut that out, cut another piece of copper out, popped it in there, baked it. So yeah, you bake it for 30 minutes at 110 degrees centigrade or 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Let it cool before you try and varnish it. So that's how you make Fimo stripes with the clay conditioning machine here. Come back and see us soon because we'll have some more great demonstrations, won't we?
Yes, and you can also check out Staedtler, www.staedtler.co.uk. There's great inspiration on there, projects that are all level, you know, beginner through to advanced. And there's also the Fimo app that will give you lots of inspiration as well.
So comment below if you like our video, and we'll see you again soon.